Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Chris.
You're watching Flack.
Obama criticizes McCain on offshore drilling. So here's pretty much the story. That McCain has now proposed that we lift a government-imposed moratorium on offshore drilling, which was supposed to last 27 years, but he just wants to cut it off a little bit early, and there's no wonder because we are apparently running out of gas. So Obama's proposal, we'll just give you the broad oversweeping thing. He basically says it makes absolutely no sense at all that McCain would want to drop this moratorium. Instead of spending all of this money drilling for oil off of our shores and killing all of our cute baby seals, we instead need to be investing this money on what is it? We would invest $150 billion over the next 10 years to create green jobs, particularly in the automotive industry, and to improve this is awesome, the electricity grid, so people can drive plug-in hybrid vehicles. So I think the idea is instead of a gas station, you've got these like giant outlets that just stick out of the ground, and you kind of plug in for 10 minutes and then go or whatever.
Sure.
This is what he wants to spend his money on. McCain wants to drill.
But isn't it private companies who are drilling? It's not the federal government going out there and drilling.
Well,
what money are they
private
talking about?
private companies would drill, except
Let me ask you this: if we're doing offshore drilling, who owns the offshore? Corporations don't own ocean land.
Right.
That's federal land. So I think they
would
have
to pay the So the private companies have to borrow, rent the land from the government.
I don't know. That would mean more money. I'm not.
I think
exactly.
Obama's actually just proposing spending money.
Oh yeah, he isn't saying I would do. I mean, I would take the $150 billion McCain wants to spend. I don't think it's that.
These are two fixes for the same problem.
Right.
Which is interesting because McCain wants the free markets to pay for stuff, and Obama wants to spend more taxpayer money. Isn't that a same old saw on that one?
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
This is interesting because we've mentioned in an episode already this morning the oil bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Austin.
Oh, that's where you want to go.
Well, no, I want to cover this first. Just
I don't know how it's a bubble. That's the thing.
You said the oil bubble. Defend yourself now, and you actually do think it's a bubble, and I'll call you on it in a second. But you first.
Wait, he thinks it's a bubble?
No, you called it a bubble. He thinks it's a bubble and doesn't know it. Why do you think it's a bubble?
Oh, I think it's a bubble because we have just as much oil. We're getting just as much oil as we ever had, and there's no.
Oh, interesting. Why do you say that?
Because I read it.
Where?
In the news.
In the news? Did you read it in Fast Company when they said the oil baron from Texas said that peak oil is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an oil baron, and he just dropped oil and started building wind stuff. And he's saying that now we're pulling out 4 parts water to 1 part oil. I thought that was interesting.
Where at?
In wherever.
Everywhere?
OPEC countries are... to have it, but see, I mean, you're proposing what you need to propose to say there's a bubble, that there is hoarding going on that we don't know about.
Well, there is hoarding. I mean, the government does just like the government used to influence milk prices and prices on a number of other commodities by
subsidizing,
by tweaking with subsidies, or in the case of oil, they've got lots of oil stored somewhere so that they can hold it back or release it into the market and kind of control the amount of oil that's available on the market, thereby influencing prices. And this has happened in the U.S. for a very long time.
I'd like to see some footnotes that that's happening now, though. And
because there's been a lot of debate about whether or not the government should be doing that. Because we got out of doing that for a lot of other commodities like milk, and there was a rise.
My thing is, are they doing it any more than they used to? Because for a bubble to currently be happening, we would need scarcity. Now, scarcity can happen naturally, say through something like peak oil, or they could be inventing scarcity by secretly hoarding. And that's what you have to be proposing here. One of those two.
Well,
and you're not proposing peak oil.
I'm not proposing either of those things.
Then there's no bubble.
I don't think
if they're hoarding just as much as they've always been, then there's no bubble that we didn't have a year ago when gas prices were fantastic.
I think we're equivocating on bubble.
Yeah. I think there might be a need to define bubble and clarify.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
You think a bubble's going to pop?
Bubble is typically. What is a bubble? I thought a bubble was unjustified in a sense, speculation or investment in a part of the market.
Yeah, I'm going to call it overblown prices due to speculation that is ill-founded.
Okay, so you're talking about overblown prices, not just overblown investment.
That's not what you said. I thought you said a bubble was caused by scarcity.
Now see here.
The reason for the most compelling reason I can see for the rise in gas prices is because of speculation. Margins on oil have gone up, but the production is the same as it has been. It's higher. Production keeps going.
Demand is lower.
That is the thing that,
according to some,
production has been gone up, and
demand is at a 6-year low right now.
Demand is but relatively speaking, I mean, we're still billions of barrels a day.
Probably like year over year, adjusted for inflation and population growth, maybe. But there's no way that we continue having babies, continue buying SUVs. China in the Olympics.
Happening? Yeah, China is the big user. India, but Americans are starting to use less.
Okay.
They're starting to ride their bikes and all of that.
So when I say there's a bubble, I'm saying that there will be an adjustment.
Okay,
which means that gas prices will go back down.
And that requires false scarcity.
That
requires false scarcity.
If they create scarcity,
for the prices to go back down?
No. I'm saying right now then we have false scarcity.
Oh, a perception of scarcity that doesn't exist, which is causing people to speculative investment in oil, and that's impacting the oil.
This is entirely contrary to what I've been reading lately, but maybe we're just reading different people, and that's fine. But,
it's likely.
But anyway, the reason why I was going to call you on it is because it would seem to me that consistent with how you normally read the news would be that the oil companies are hoarding oil to create scarcity and make more money.
Yeah,
and I've heard you say that.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're doing it yet. They will. They do want to create the peak oil scam as part of creating a sense of creation of scarcity. But the peak oil scam hasn't been perpetuated on the American people
I can buy peak oil, and maybe it's just because I'm a part of the sheeple masses that is ever trusting of things. But from what I've read and watched and studied about peak oil, I think that it's far more likely than global warming that peak oil would occur.
What? I would actually agree with that. I think it's more likely.
From
more
what I've
likely
read,
than man-made global warming.
This chap in Fast Company that just came out a couple months ago. He said
more likely than unicorns and leprechauns.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I mean, you read that. Did you disbelieve?
I agree with that too.
Did you disbelieve they actually found a unicorn? It was in the news. It was a deer that had some mutation, and
that's why I said
unicorns
and leprechauns.
Oh, okay. Venn diagrams right here.
But did you have a point?
Fast Company. You read that thing in Fast Company. Did you disbelieve him? Was he saying that to make more money, even though he's moving to wind?
He was saying that because he's old. I don't know.
You admired him when you read the
There's
article.
There's a lot of people who believe that.
I admired him because I admired him.
I genuinely believe
he's an oil baron.
Right. Well, Shell is the one who started peak oil.
I admired him because he admitted that he was taking advantage of government subsidies. He admitted that it wasn't like he felt guilty and then now he's doing wind energy because he felt guilty.
He was getting out of oil legitimately because of peak oil and moving to wind.
Bad timing because peak oil is going to make them filthy rich.
Yeah.
Because those last drops of oil are going to cost a lot. We cannot provide thousands of troops around the world.
So suddenly you're arguing for
gentlemen,
peak oil.
I'm not. I don't.
Peak oil does not exist.
We're at the 45-second mark.
I'm gonna go
okay, so peak oil doesn't exist. So McCain, do we need to do what he does? Do we even need to invest $150 billion?
Well, the trick with
one word, go. Yes or no. We're out of time.
I'm not going with one word. I need 15 seconds. I think that this artificial bubble is allowing people like McCain and the oil companies to argue for offshore drilling. There's a lot of oil there. They want it.
Okay, we got that.
And this is a good opportunity.
I agree with Austin.
And I disagree completely. Thank you for watching Flack. Visit us on claxon.com. Comment. Leave something on YouTube. Leave something there. We'd love to hear what you think.